Welcome to another edition of the Extra Point. I'm here with my two longtime tag team partners, Andrew Jupe and Coach Cofield, and we're going to break it down. We've got week number 4 already in the books, and we got to start talking about week number 5. But before we do, man, it's been a really good week of football. I mean, I was really impressed with what I saw last week. Got a chance to take in a great game at McClay. That one really came down to a huge defensive effort. And then really all over the city, Florida High pulled even, back to 2-2 on the year. Got a lot of teams that really starting to stretch and pull away from the competition so far. But, man, I think a lot of people in Tallahassee got a little bit of a break for a minute. And then the Seminoles just laid another goose egg. So it's hard to watch a team that used to be, you used to seeing them kind of throw their weight around, and just when things started to look like they were on an uptick, it looks like the program is just sliding way backwards right now.
It don't take much. A couple of key players leave, and then you have all these guys not in sync, fumbles, turnovers, a killer. The game was hard to watch. It was very difficult to watch, and it's like everybody was taking turns making mistakes. And I'm, as a coach, I can imagine sitting on. I mean, you can't coach a guy from the fumbles. You can teach him how to hold the football, but he got to remember it at the right time. And as soon as they do something good, they turn around and do something bad. And a team, really, they should have beat the brakes off of.
Yeah.
Memphis wasn't that good, and they did everything in the world to help the other team win.
Yeah, Nose look kind of lethargic, and I think it's the level of effort that really stands out the most.
You can't coach that. You gotta want it.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's sad to watch, guys, to be honest. As a proud alum, I was riding the high from last year, and then it's definitely a big drop off. It's like the old roller coaster. We went up real high, and now we are real low. And I'm wondering, can we get to Thanksgiving by the time we play UF? They might be 1-7. FSU might be 0-8.
Yeah,
it might be a good game, but can we get a win? We got Charleston Southern, which I don't know. It doesn't seem so sure anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Not really a money game this year, so we'll see, guys. That one might be competitive, though. I might go to that game if I'm looking for like a good close contest for FSU.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that some of our guys get in. I'm really hoping that we see Danzy on the field, doing his thing. I hope to see a little bit more play from a lot of the recruited guys, just to hit the field, because you got to give them some room to kind of like start, getting their roots down into that system. Otherwise, I'm afraid they might transfer just in this environment because if there's not really, I would say if there's not really, the push coming from the coaches, you got to start asking a lot of questions. I was talking to some people and they were just like, I'm not so sure that, just a lot of what happened in the offseason where it just kind of feels like, it feels like the program is throwing the season away in a lot of areas. So it's just hard to watch the internet trolls and everybody on Twitter. It's funny, but it ain't funny when it happened to you.
No, I think, as bad as the season's gone, it's a lot of things easily corrected. They have talent. That's not a problem. It's getting the talent to do what you want when they need to do it. And I think they got a great opportunity because they're playing a tough California team coming up. Man, I watched them play against Auburn. They better not go out there messing around because they can look ugly at home. So I hope Coach correct us. And maybe some people, people think you got a great player, but sometimes sitting a great player on the bench for a little bit, they'll understand they got a problem. They're not playing up to what they're supposed to be. And I think they're making some changes coming up.
Yeah.
Everybody fussing at the quarterback. The quarterback can't throw it and catch it. I've seen too much drops. That's unusual at Florida State. seeing them
Yeah,
drop.
there's a lot of undisciplinary kind of things where just out of character. So, but
Yeah,
I think just the you gotta want it. If you can tell when there's a team that has the enthusiasm on the sidelines, and this team just doesn't look like they're showing up to play. And so it's going to be very interesting going down the stretch. But yeah, across the street, FAMU getting ready to take on Troy. That's going to be a pretty good ball game. We'll see what Richardson really can do against some competition that's probably more or less on the level that he left. Troy and FAMU got a great history that goes back several years, but this is one of those things where I think the Rattlers will get a chance to really kind of see where they stack up. This is a good test for them. It'll be I'm not sure what the game time is going to be, but they were talking about several different things that they were trying to get cleaned up and things that they tried during the Miami game. They had a couple of drives where they were able to move the ball against the Hurricane. So we'll see if that can turn into something that will allow them to potentially maybe get into a position to pull an upset. So we'll see. But, hopes are always high. And then the Rattlers, of course, are going to be traveling very well. I know fans are going to be making that trip a couple of hours into Alabama to see the Rattlers take on Troy. But this is going to be one of those things where I really wonder if they got, the defensive line kind of shored up a little bit, because that seems to be kind of their only weakness right now.
maybe they need to go eat a little bit more food. Some of them kind of, as a team, compared to the past, they were they look a little small on the front, and I think they're going more for quickness than they are for size. And they look, they struggle in the first half of both of the games they play, all the games they played, but in the second half they seem to make a good adjustments, and they usually shut a team, everybody but Miami. They usually shut them down. So I'm looking forward to that game. I think the Rattlers going to bring their A game. I'm looking for an upset this coming Saturday, because I think with the quarterback we got, Richardson, he's a Mr. Excitement type of guy, and I think he relished this challenge to show what he can do.
Yeah, it should be a fun game. And Troy's 0-3, gang, but they played Memphis tougher than FSU did. So they're no slouch. So don't sleep on 0-3. They had a couple weeks ago, they played Memphis pretty tough. They gave them a run, especially down the stretch there, that second half. But yeah, I'm with you all. I think it'd be a great game. And I'm hoping one of our Tallahassee teams can continue to keep winning. And it looks like my money's on FAM here rest of the year.
Ocho Cinco called it. He said there's like, I think between Florida State and FAMU, there's like 3 crossover opponents. So there's really good. There's good barometer to be able to tell, like, who's the better team. So this is the first time in a long time that we've seen it like this. I think a lot of people in Tallahassee are starting to pull for FAMU because they just want to watch some good football. So yeah, it is happening on Wanish Way. So if you don't have nothing to do on Saturday, you need to check them out.
Don't give up on the nose. I think that you can't be that good and get that bad. They got to wake up. They got maybe the challenge, and people talking about them, it's a sad situation. And I mean, they got to have a little pride that they're going to come bring their A game this week. I hope they win the game. I mean, California, I don't want no California team coming to Tallahassee and winning no football games anyway. I got a friend over there. I don't want to hear his mouth.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into the rewind for week number 4. Man, like I said, a lot of great games, and just really looking at the slate, what we really saw, I think, was just a lot of teams that really the dominant teams continue to separate. And for the most part, everything that I saw was just more so of the same playmakers stepping up, especially in Cottondale. Same 2 guys, Jakarian Garrett and Odoms. Man, they had another field day out there. So let's go ahead and jump into some scores. Okay, so this one took place at Childs. We were literally like probably I don't know, less than a half a mile away from this one, but it was a wet, rainy kind of, off and on Friday night, and Godby was able to outlast Swanee. This one was back and forth. I would say kind of the whole, for the better part of the whole game, there was this kind of trading punches for a little bit. Cougars needed a 14-point comeback in the fourth quarter to kind of seal the deal. But man, when you look at the way their offense is built, everything runs through Lazarus Chambers. 12 of 18, 279 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. And then this week, it was wide receiver Jamarian Simmons. He was the big, he was the other big component of that explosive offense that Godby has. Had 4 receptions, 132 yards, and a touchdowns. And, for Godby to pull 2-2 at this time of the year, I think it was a must win for them. And they were able to get that crucial win over Swanee, who was also, you had 2 teams that were kind of similar coming into that game and were definitely looking to pull even. But they looked evenly matched as you watched the game. But Godby was able to seal the deal late in the fourth as Swanee's defense just kind of, in my opinion, got a little bit worn down.
Well, I watched that game. Looked like Swanee was intent to come in and win. They took control of the game early. Godby came back at the end. I was surprised because you know how I watch on Friday night. I got like 6 games, 6 tabs open on my computer, and I'm watching everybody. I turned away from Godby. I said, dang, they're gonna lose the game. And I turned back and I saw that they had won, and I'm like, wait a minute. It wasn't the same team that played for 3 quarters to end up at the end and win the football game. But when you got a great quarterback like Chambers, hey, anything can happen. Swanee and Kyler Hollis they are struggling this year at Swanee, and I thought they had a chance to win that game. And I'm sure, Mark, you're happy that Godby pulling it out, coming up, making it 2-2 now.
Yeah, I know for Coach Hall, he's got a younger team, still got lots of talent. Like I've seen them, they've got the pieces there. I think they just probably need a couple of guys to get some more experience, and this could be a very dangerous team moving forward. And of course, the season isn't over, so anything can happen, especially going down the stretch. Swanee has a couple of favorable games left on the slate, so we'll see if the Bulldogs can turn it around. But Cougars definitely moved to 2-2. Meanwhile, Taylor County taking on NFC, and this one was over when they had the coin toss. So it was all Bulldogs, 56-0 over the Eagles. And man, my, how the tables have turned. This a couple of years ago was could have been flip-flopped as far as the score was concerned. But Taylor County, man, with the weapons that they have, this is a bona fide playoff team. I think it's safe to say with them being undefeated and the defense that's playing absolutely lights out, it just makes it easier on the offense. Coach, you already know that, but DJ McCoy, 151 yards on 8 carries and 2 touchdowns. He's just an absolute monster, hard to bring down, very shifty. And then this week, as we're calling out a new Bulldog every week, it was wide receiver and athlete Kingston Williams, and I think he's a freshman. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's definitely a freshman or a sophomore, but he had a punt return for a touchdown. So getting the job done on special teams and on defense with a pick 6. Man, Bulldogs, man, it's superstar by committee down there in Perry, Florida.
Man, I'm excited for them. The guys, they were excited this coming into the season. Had no idea this was going to be the team, the kind of team they had. And man, NFC is just, it's hard to look at. You're talking about a team that's always, for decades, a great program. It didn't matter who. Some guys leave and the new guys come up and they become a part. I think they got 8 state titles. This ain't the same team of old, and Taylor County, it took no mercy.
Yeah, they're rolling. And like Mark said, this is basically the exact opposite of a couple years ago or even the year before. Yeah, but Kingston's actually a senior, Mark, but he's been flying under the radar because he's actually a big-time soccer player. He's a fantastic goalie, and you can see he's got great hands. they finally got him on the football field, and he's out here making plays. But yeah, Kingston Williams is an absolute beast. Dogs are rolling.
Yeah, leave it to Coach Braswell to pull him out of the other sports. It's like, hey, what you doing? Come here.
That's what you do. You got a small school, right? You gotta be in every team's practice. You gotta be getting the basketball kids. You gotta be getting the soccer kids. You got whatever. That's how you play small school ball right there, and they're killing it. Right?
Definitely. Coach Braswell was just like, hey, I'm gonna go talk to your soccer coach for a minute, but I need to borrow you this season. So, man, but yeah, Taylor County definitely, like I said, they look like a bona fide playoff team right now. Moving on around the area, another wet one. Rickers and Childs Raiders edged the Timberwolves as the and it looked like Childs was trying to get a drive going and just ran out of time there. To make something happen as the Raiders really kind of put this one away in the fourth quarter as they hold the Timberwolves scoreless in that final period as they secured a victory 14-7. It didn't have to be pretty. It was just good old-fashioned defense that got this one done for Coach Lewis and his bunch. As, you know, running back Carlise Price on 8 carries had 82 yards and a TD. Quarterback Ben Henry was 7 of 18. 137 yards passing. But really the story on the defensive side was what Tyreek Walker was able to do. 9 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, and 1 fumble recovery that came at a crucial time to stop a Child's drive. Man, it really just was it was good old fashioned. I would say probably like what you would have seen on a kind of a John Madden kind of style game where it wasn't fancy. It was just who just kind of made the defensive plays. And for the Timberwolves, there were some bright spots there, but they just weren't able to get anything going for the most part. Raiders pull to, I think Raiders are 3-1 now, and Childs falls to 1-3. So season still definitely fairly, as we pull into the midpoint, a lot of teams still got a lot to prove, but for right now, Rickers is relying a lot on that defense.
Yes, they look pretty good. I watched as I was flipping through the games and stuff. It was pretty close at the beginning. Childs fight, and it was a surprise. I didn't think 14 points would do it, but they held on to defense because the weather was so bad. It was difficult for the teams to throw the football. You talking about kids slipping and sliding all over the place, and I thought that they pulled it out pretty good to hold on to a 14-7 lead. That was tough. Great defense. Great job, Ricketts.
Yeah, it's tough for Childs. It reminded me of the game a couple weeks ago versus Wakulla. Great game, super close, 1-score game, but then turnovers down the stretch in the fourth quarter was kind of the unraveling. This time it was Walker with the takeaway with the fumble recovery. A couple weeks ago was the interceptions, but they're right there, man. But it's like the old Childs situation that we've been in for 3 or 4 years. They're playing everybody tough, and you start to project it forward, and I think they're in a lot of the same circumstances that we've seen the Childs Timberwolves the last 3-4 years, and it's unfortunate, we take the transition of where we'll be at the beginning of November. Yeah,
there'll be plenty of time for a lot of those young guys, and they do got a lot of young, talented guys for them to get some more reps and start to find a rhythm. But it's sometimes the schedule just won't let you put together a string of victories like that. So and Childs definitely has their work cut out for them as we get to the midway point of the season. Monday Night Football out in Bristol. Man, great game. It was back and forth for a little bit. Both teams between Liberty and Franklin County were trading shots, but the Seahawks are 4-0 with a 35-28 win over the Liberty County Bulldogs. And, for the most part, this was one of those things where, sometimes, you can have those contests where you're rolling and then you run into teams that just, they're going to pull out all the stops. And I think this was one of those tests for Franklin County where they really showed a lot of resiliency. Had a chance to talk to Coach Cooper earlier, and he was really proud of his guys, but it's really more so just the understanding that they're getting everybody's best shot because now they're the big dogs. So sometimes when that record does a lot, when opponents see that, they start to, play you just a little bit harder. And I think for Franklin County, they're in uncharted waters because they're not used to being the favorite in a lot of these games. And for them to survive what Liberty County threw at them was just a really showed a lot of poise, especially going down the stretch, because the game was not really in hand until midway or late in the fourth quarter, where they were able to finally seal the deal. I think Liberty County led at a couple of points in the ball game, especially in the second half. So as teams traded shots, it was just Franklin County and just those great group of guys that were able to come out on top. Man, don't sleep on Liberty, though, because this is a talented group over there that's just starting to come together and gel, and it's starting to show up on the field.
Yeah, Mark, I watched the game, and they jumped on Franklin right at the beginning, got a 2-point play. So they got a safety starting the game off, and then they turned around and drove the length of the field for a touchdown. And they were up, and looked like Franklin was kind of struggling a little bit. I talked to Coach Cooper before the game started. We talked that earlier that day, and he was a little leery of this game. He was worried about Liberty. He said they're very, like what you just said, they're a very talented football team, but they found the ways. I watched. This is the first time I got to see them play, and I was impressed. They play a solid offense. I love the way they run the football. It's sort of the wing T style with double wings. Enjoyed what he did. I liked some of the things he did. But you look at the game at first, I thought they were in trouble, but they pulled away at the end, and the defense stopped it. I think they got an interception at the end of the game and closed the deal.
Yeah, scrappy game. You told us Liberty was on the way up, Mark, and they gave Franklin all they could handle. But like you said, Seahawks 4-0, history again.
Yeah, first time ever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, shout out to Coach Cooper, man. He's done a great job, just breathing life into that program and really getting the kids to buy in. So it's starting to show now, and they're reaping the benefits. Schedule is going to get a lot tougher for the Seahawks, but, this is kind of comes with the territory when you put together a string of victories like that and you finally got your guys together. So best of luck to them as they move on throughout the remainder of the season. Meanwhile, Rutherford hooking up with Holmes County, and man, I'm sorry. I thought Rutherford had some left in the tank, and they just ran out of gas in this one as they fall to the Holmes County Blue Devils, 34-19. Blue Devils really, man, jumped out strong and just kind of held control for the ball game for the most part.
Mark, it's sort of, they remind me of Charles. They play everybody tough, just can't get over the finish line. And with Rutherford, Coach Floyd is doing a great job. He got a group of guys, and maybe I don't know if they're too young or whatever, but they look like they can play with everybody they play with, but they just can't seem to push it over the finish line.
Yeah, it was, it's one of those games where, you may not have brought your A game, but a lot of it, when you look at Holmes County, they didn't do anything fancy. They just handed the ball off to about 6 or 7 different guys, and they just ran him down. It's very hard when you're facing a different type of running back every 3 or 4 plays as a defensive guy. You just got to make those adjustments, and man, shout out to Holmes County. They were able to secure the victory and move to 3-1 on the year. Really, for them, I think it's more so just about same kind of formula of superstar by committee. And it's not fancy, but it's getting the job done, and they've got a pretty decent offensive line that's creating some of these holes and running lanes for the running backs. Anytime where you can keep your quarterback's jersey clean and keep him up off the ground, you're doing something right. So the Blue Devils, a winner over Rutherford, 34-19. Man, one of our unbeatens bit the dust last week. Arnold falls to South Walton, 13-21. And, really for the Marlins, man, off to a great start, just ran into a very determined South Walton team who was just absolutely bent on getting the job done and securing that first victory as they finally get the dub, their first one on the year. wide receiver Cannon Page went off. He had 110 yards on 6 receptions and 6 receptions and 1 touchdown. And then a duo of linebacker, this linebacker duo, Preston Hernandez and Brady Smith, they really got the job done. Led the defense with 9 tackles apiece. Just kind of putting up a good defensive front. And, you know, for South Walton, you know, I kind of got to wonder, man, if they had a couple of home games mixed in there, they might have a better record. But this is a team that's, you know, they're just going to be washing in white uniforms every week.
Yeah. Sorry, what's up, Coach?
I say you.
Oh, yeah. I'm ready.
You're the best analyst. You go ahead.
Well, I don't know about that, but I can say they played a really clean game, gang. And the sophomore quarterback did enough to get it done. Like you said, Mark, the wide receiver went off. But, gang, I don't remember the last time I've seen a high school ball game that a team goes for 3 penalties for 15 yards. That's it. They won the turnover battle 3-0. And so they got 3 extra positions. They weren't getting penalized. And that was the recipe for success. Like I said, the offense did just enough to get the job done, and they took down Arnold, something that I was shocked by. I missed that boat real good. I thought Arnold was going to take off and roll here, but South Walton, the Seahawks, they came clawing back, and they played a really clean ball game, which was tough for a lot of our area teams given the conditions that we had basically all weekend.
Yeah, it was one of those where I think they found a chink in the Arnold armor. You know, they found a little crease and they were able to take advantage of it. But both teams, well, for Arnold, they'll be looking to bounce back next week. And then for South Walton, I think for them, they were just hungry to get that first dub. So the Road Warriors will continue next week as they will continue. No, I think they will actually get a home game next week as they host Florida High. So we'll get into that a little bit later. Jefferson County blanks North Bay Haven 28-0. And, man, what can you say about this Tiger squad, man? They are probably I would say they're one play away from being undefeated. They had Hamilton County on the ropes earlier, and, you know, just kind of a blunder on offense kept them from securing that victory. But everything else has been rolling nice and clean for the Tigers. Man, something going on out there in Monticello, both Arcilla Christian and Jefferson County on the winning side of things for the first time in a long time.
Mark, I think this is the most wins they had in the past 3 years. Because I think they didn't win a game last year. They won one maybe the year before and one the year before that. So Coach Powell is doing a fantastic job with his kids. I personally hadn't seen him play this year, so I couldn't really tell you. I don't know the stars on their team, but look like Coach is doing it. And he got when I checked that coaching staff, he's got a pretty good staff on there. Guys
over there.
I saw that. I was like, wait a minute, this guy he taught these guys into coming to help him out. And that makes a big difference when you got a good coach staff.
Absolutely. That offense is fun. Takes you back to probably like 2018, right, gang? Where they had, I think it was Elliott McCreary, that big wide receiver. He was a beast on the perimeter. It's fun to watch them score, and they're playing some great defense. They're locking it down. When you can score and you can play defense, things usually pretty good for you.
Chipley getting it done with defense, a big winner over Vernon, 18-0. It won pretty, didn't have to be. The weather was nobody's friend last Friday. But, man, what can you say about the Tigers? Because they've only given up 25 points this season. That's it.
Yeah, games like that.
Yeah, their second shutout win on the year. And you know, they used a nice second half surge to be able to secure the victory. But yeah, Vernon's still trying to put some pieces together, but they're talented. But you know, Chipley, man, they really closed the door. Like they do not. I mean, you're talking about 3 and outs in consecutive drives, and that really just for any team that can be a tall order. 18 could have easily been 40 with the way that, you know, they've been putting teams behind the 8 ball. So, yeah, Tigers are undefeated. They remain that way and are looking at with the rest of the schedule. It looks favorable. 10-0 is not impossible. So There's a couple of games on there that are winnable, but there will be some. They will have to continue to play great defensive ball like they're doing. But 4-0 is still 4-0, especially heading into week number 5. Cottondale, a huge winner over Freeport, 64-22. And man, between Jakarian Garrett and Cameron Odoms, man, they are lighting up every single opponent. I think by themselves, they are good for at least 250 yards apiece. You had the quarterback Odom was 3 of 3, 184 yards in the air, 111 yards rushing, 6 carries, and accounting for 4 touchdowns by himself. Then you have Jakarian Garrett. He also added a pair of touchdowns behind 114 yards rushing, 10 carries. This game was over at halftime, guys. This is their second or third game where they put up 50 points or nearly 50 points in the first half. So this team is it goes without saying about how explosive they are offensively. But man, I get to call out a new person this week for Cottondale, and this one is wide receiver Treshawn Collins. And I'm not sure if they're brothers or cousin, but Tremont Collins, I'm going to say maybe they're brothers. We'll get the official word on that. But both wideouts went for 104 yards and 81 yards and accounted for 3 touchdowns between the two. So this team is there. You think, well, maybe it's just a quarterback, and no, they got a running back. He's also good. No, they got wide receivers too. This team is just absolutely stacked on offense. I don't think that there's I don't think we're seeing any lack of weapons here for them to choose from, and they're lighting up the scoreboard.
Well, Mark, you didn't have anything about the defense. They're not giving up very many points. It's hard to when your team is scoring a bunch of points. You gotta get out there. Because look like when I watch them play, it's like one play, boom, and they're in the end zone. So I'm turning around. It's amazing. This team, I think about a couple of years ago, they weren't very good, and these guys look like they might be on their way somewhere. I'm not gonna call it out, but it's gonna be very difficult to beat these guys. I watched them play twice, and they just, like you say, Mark, they were scoring a whole bunch of points early in the game, and they cruised in the second half. And I think that you see a great coaching job, but you got a lot of talent.
Yeah, there's going to be a bit of a showdown as we get close to the end of the year. As some of these teams face off, man, it's going to be some must-see TV as far as looking at how defensively sound a few of these teams in the Panhandle are versus how explosive some of these offensive are. I think we're on a collision course before the end of the year is out. Mariana, a big winner over Bozeman, 49-zip. Great defensive effort, and man, Bulldogs undefeated as well as they get the job done with ease, cruising in this one. Another 40-plus point victory for Amari Clemens and the rest of the Bulldogs. It really, when you look at how this, one of the reasons I like Mariana, they look almost as if they've been playing together for like 7-8 years. This is like a team that's been together for so long. You don't even have to call the play. They know what to do. It almost reminds you like that, kind of like some of those teams that we've seen where the coaches don't have to coach. The team is out there doing what they need to do, and it'll be interesting. I need to give a coach a phone call, find out if that's actually the case, because they look so fluid on offense. Especially, Coach, you were talking about Amari Clemens, just how clean the running lanes look and just how he's able to turn things on a dime. It was no different last Friday, as just 7 carries. That's all he needed, but he went for 123 yards and a pair of touchdowns. Bulldogs get their second shutout. The defense does get the second shutout on the year. And then RJ Mays, the quarterback, 12 of 17 passing. He threw 3 touchdowns on 156 yards in the air. And man, this team looks legit.
Mark, I think look like the teams in the Panhandle got some great talent. I watched Clemens last week, and that was the person I wanted to see because, you know, I love running backs because I used to be one day about 50 years ago. And he is the smoothest. He got great cuts. He got great vision. And I watched him, and he looked so easy. They call it. He scored a touchdown. They called it back, and he got the ball a few plays later and did the same thing. So, and man, I want to go to see him in person because I love watching running attack, and I love watch great running backs.
Yeah, so they can control the ball, and I like Barnes on defense too. Great tackler, getting after the quarterback. So you're playing good defense. You can't stop the run when you load the box. Mace throws it over the top. You try to back off. Clemens in the O-line burn you, and then you got the bruiser also in there. The fullback can do some damage. He got a couple touchdowns last week. I mean, how do you stop him? You know,
Yeah.
you can't. It's like you're in a ship with like 4 holes in it. So you start plugging one hole, you're like, all right, that's good to go. But then it starts really taking on water on the other 3. They're really fun to watch. Them in Cottondale, man. Are they playing this year? I
don't think so. I didn't see them on the schedule, but I'm going to double check just to be sure. And, you know, if they're not, they should be. And that's one of those things where it's just like you want to make sure that, you know, it's always fun when the best teams line up against the best teams.
If they did play Mark,
I don't see them on each other's schedule. But man, it'd be fun to watch though. Maybe in the playoffs. We'll see. So moving on around the area, Sneeze, a big win over FAMU High, 25-6. Pirates get that first win on the year. Baby Rattlers still trying to figure things out as they are still winless. Gaston County hit the road going into the Peach State once again. This time taking on Coffee County, and this one was close because you know, Coffee County ended up pulling away late as they take it 27-14. But man, Gaston County looked really sharp in the first half as they had the lead, I think, at halftime. But just, you know, just a couple of things going down the stretch, I think, where Coffee County really just found, I think they found some weaknesses on the Gaston County defense and were able to take advantage and walk away with this one. Former Madison County head coach Mike Coe and his crew are undefeated on the year and looking to get back to the Mercedes-Benz Dome to compete for another state championship. But man, for Gaston County, this was a great test. I think they probably learned a lot as far as what they need to clean up. And it goes without saying about how talented this group is, but sometimes when you run into these kind of opponents, they're really, you know, they're more about what can you clean up and get shored up on your side so that you can continue to remain competitive. Because this team, even though it was an out-of-state contest, I'm pretty sure they'll use this to their advantage going down the stretch.
Well, Mark, it was a great first half, 7-3 at halftime, and you thought that Gaston County probably would dominate the same way in the second half. But Coach Cole, a veteran coach, came out, changed something on his offense, maybe the blocking scheme. I don't know what it was. I couldn't tell. And then they got this long run, and they kind of changed the whole momentum of the game. And at the end, it got a little chippy, too. They had to stop the game early.
Yeah. I expect that from Gaston County though. It's just they play on that edge. You know, sometimes
it wasn't just them. Now it was going both ways because they got, you know, you come into somebody home, you know, on their home field, and Gaston, you know, they was probably talking a little trash and they got, you know, mixed up. I like them kind of games. I don't have a problem with it. I think they stopped the game like 30-some seconds before it was a.
Yeah, you don't want to see anybody get suspended, but you know, you definitely want to know that you got pride in your program. Sometimes, you know, those little pushing and shoving things, they're good to build morale, but you know, it's you know, it's good that they were able to kind of get out of there. I do know that, you know, for the most part, this team is they're not going to lay down for nobody. So I expect that for Gaston County. Unfortunately, come up on the losing side of this one, 14-27. Madison County got it done against rival Columbia, 18-13. LJ Crumity, 137 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Also had another one passing. Man, for the most part, Madison is just, again, doesn't have to be fancy, just getting the job done and beating up opponents that are still outside of their classification. This is still Madison now. Make no mistakes. I think they had to let down at home against Lincoln a couple of weeks ago, but Cowboys are still putting things back together as they get back on the winning side of things, taking this one 18-13. Then back in the capital city, Florida High, a big winner over South Broward in the rain with the lightning delays as they come up with a big win over opponent from South Florida, 27-6. Let's kind of get through some of these. We got a big winner out in Monticello with Osceola beating up on Duval Charter, 52-12. Warriors undefeated, and that's going to set up some great games down the stretch for the remainder of the season for them. Bay falls to Escambia, just so close, 29-30. And really for Bay, they're just trying to get things going. It's a talented young group of guys, but weren't able to get the job done against Escambia on the road. Hamilton County falls to West Nassau, 12-47. Lafayette also on the short side of things against Chiefland, who was undefeated, by the way, as they fall 38-20. And then Mosley got it done on last Thursday night, 36-7 over Navarre. We had St. John Paul went down to take on IMG, and they I don't know. Sometimes I don't know which version of IMG it is, blue, black, or white, but
I think it was white.
Yeah, IMG white. They fall to one of the IMGs, 27-48. And then we have Walton beating up on West Florida, a big winner, 48-21. And then, of course, we saw this one up close and in person. McClay surviving the late onslaught from Valwood as they survived 20-19. And, for this one, I really liked what I saw with McClay. I just recognized that the defense was just gassed and was really trying to hold on, but came up with a huge stop when they needed it right at the end of the ball game.
Yeah. Mark, I'd like to go back to something. I want to give a shout out to a kid at Walton, the quarterback, Wells Benhouse. He threw for 365 yards on 13-19 passes with 4 touchdowns. I mean, that's exceptional.
Yeah. You should have put that in the notes. You should
I just got it, Mark. I had to throw Coach he just sent it to me.
Yeah, it's good to see them bounce back. And then, McClay battled it out. A lot of times you think when they get a big win, you think of the offense, but the defense stood strong. And like you said, Mark, I don't think we talked about it in this capacity, but just being suffering through a lot of sickness and having to roll out anybody that they had on the sideline, and it was just enough. They had some big turnovers early. The big play, the 98-yard touchdown by Grant was massive. That was the deciding factor. And it reminded me that Rickards Gobby game a couple weeks ago. It felt like they blocked like 3 kicks. I know it was at least 2 with the field goal miss and the extra point, and then the penalty, taking the touchdown. Some mental mistakes there from Valwood. This was a full-blown upset, I think, for McClay, but they look strong, got it done in some pretty poor conditions, and that's how you got to win ugly. Better to win ugly than lose ugly.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like the Grant to Bashir's connection was really working strong in the first half. Bashir's really was getting just creating a lot of space, man. Rangy guy, but was doing that whole connection was doing pretty good. Second half, really a different story, as I think Valwood probably started keying in on some of those matchups. And really, for McClay, it was just taking advantage on special teams because, we saw the kicking game really failing for Valwood. And then that crucial, they had a crucial extra point block. And then I think they blocked another one at some point in the second half. And, that ended up being the tail of the tape because that game could have easily been tied if not for some special teams effort on part by the Marauders. So that'll do it for week number 4. We don't have no time to waste, so let's go ahead and jump into week 5. The schedule looks nice, guys. I'm really liking the way things are shaping up here. Some great matchups here. Let's go ahead and run it down. Childs taking on Godby, and for the way this is setting up, I think the Timberwolves are really going to come out firing, but Cougars look really good, especially with Lazarus Chambers under center.
Yeah, I think the Cougars will pull this one out. Childs just having problem getting over the hump.
Yeah, I'm going Gabi as well here. I like Chambers. He's rolling. If they can keep him upright, they're fun to watch. Childs will keep it interesting for 3 quarters, though, with that defense. For the record, Coach, you're back on top with the picks. You're at 75% for the season. I'm at second at 74.5. Mark, big week for you last week. You caught up.
Yep,
Welcome to the
caught up a little bit.
72%. So we're
Mark,
plus.
Yeah. Yeah. In this particular one, I think Gabi has a little bit more of the momentum coming into the game. I definitely think Childs will make it close. It's just a matter of if Gabi can get hot early, I think it could be a long night. Weather doesn't look to be a factor, so this could be a different kind of Cougar offense we see going into the game. This one right here has man, I don't know what to call this, game of the year, or it has all of the storylines written all over it. Undefeated Blountstown taking on undefeated Taylor County. Man, this is going to be a huge game. I really like the way Blountstown has been playing. They've been well rested. They've been off for a couple of weeks now. Taylor County has been rolling. Man, this is going to be a huge game because it's going to be at Bowl Stadium out in Blountstown. Big time matchup.
Who you got, Mark? You just.
I introduce the games. I let everybody make their picks, and then I come in at the end.
No, what you got?
If I had to take this one, I say probably right now Taylor, because they got the momentum. I really think I can see this one going into overtime. I definitely could see this one being super close. I don't think that we'll see a high-scoring effort here. I really don't. I think this one probably be maybe 20 points or less between the two teams. But it looks like right now, if I had to call it, I would say Taylor. They've got a lot of offensive weapons. And really, for the most part, that defense has just been really opportunistic. They've created a lot of turnover opportunities. And, for the most part, Blountstown is just one of those tough places to play. Nobody really goes in there and comes out with an easy win. So I think it could be something like maybe 12-10.
We don't need to score. Who you got?
I already picked.
You got to keep.
I already picked. It's your turn now.
Who did you pick?
Everybody watching heard what I said. It's your turn.
I got Blountstown because that is one heck of a place to go in and try to win a football game. The crowd is rocking. It is very, very difficult. And they're good. Taylor County's good. Blountstown.
There you go. I'm with Mark. This is going to be a good game. But it reminds me of when I was 11, 12 years old, gang, delivering newspapers because I was scared of the dogs. Give me Taylor County. Keep it rolling, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, I see Taylor edging it here. They fought through adversity. They've been pretty resilient. I know Blountstown is not going to pull any punches, but yeah, I see a low-scoring ball game here. Meanwhile, Madison County taking on Bay. Bay still trying to put together things, and Madison really, you kind of got to ignore the Lincoln game. It looks like they had a letdown there, but everything else looks like the Madison we're used to seeing. I like the Cowboys at home at Boo Hill in this one.
I got the Cowboys.
Clean sweep. I got Crumity and the Cowboys, baby. Let's go.
You got to.
I got my signs going this week, Coach. I'm excited about it.
So this one is intriguing. We got South Walton in their first home game on the year taking on Florida High, and Florida High, definitely. I know they needed to have the momentum going there. They've been battle tested, but Yeah, definitely don't sleep on South Walton. This could be closer than what a lot of people think, but I like the Seminoles in this one close.
Well, I got Florida. I think the Seahawks have a difficult time playing them at home because Florida High is one of the best teams in the area, so that'll be a difficult matchup for Seahawks, but Florida High.
Yep, Seminoles got it going on. They're on the upswing. I'm going to take Florida High as well. Apologies for the little jump out there. Spilled my drink, and it looks like right on the electrical cords. So I'm trying to shape it up, gang.
Yeah, this one is going to be close, but I do think that the Seminoles may have the edge in this one. Arnold taking on Rutherford. I'm gonna have to go with the Marlins, but I think Rutherford is just gonna pull it together one of these weeks. I see them being real close. I think this game will be close. I think if they look at the tape, I think they may find some things from Arnold's last week, their contest last week against South Walton. But man, these teams are actually evenly matched in a lot of areas. I just think that maybe Arnold, because they're at home, may have the edge. This one too is going to be close, in my opinion, but I give it to the Marlins. More so because they're at home.
Well, I'm going with Rutherford. I think they're going to get their first victory this week.
Okay.
Yeah. Somebody we can't tell.
There we go.
I was going to do it, but you know.
I'm glad you went for it, Coach, because I'm sticking with Arnold. So at least
I like it.
It is hard to picture Rutherford at 0-5. I hope they prove me wrong because this team definitely is deserving, but I think because they're on the road, it might be a little bit of a different contest. While Color taking on FAMU DRS, give me the War Eagles.
War Eagles.
Make it 3. War Eagles.
I like your stats.
Yeah, I couldn't get all my picks in, so I had to make the signs instead.
Freeport taking on Vernon. This one's gonna be fun. This is gonna be a lot of fun. I like the way both teams looked at certain points, but because Freeport is at home, man, give me the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I'm going with Freeport.
Dogs, guys. Dogs are dangerous. Going with Freeport.
We were taking on Jefferson County. Even though the Gators are at home, I think Tigers are going to run away with this one. I'm going Jefferson.
Well, I'm going Weewalt.
Oh, split. Jeffco, baby. Keep it rolling. 4-1. Let's go.
I'm going to be way ahead this week. Go ahead.
Sneeds and Bozeman. This one's going to be interesting as well. Both teams are evenly matched. Sneeds going to be the host team at home. I think the Pirates put together 2 wins in a row. Give me Sneeds.
I'm gonna go with Sneed.
Yeah, make it 3. My guy Pius Reed got it going last week. 4 touchdowns. Pirates again.
All right, we got a big one. Lincoln hitting the road, taking their talents to the Peach State. They take on Ware County. Man, it based on what I've seen, it is hard to go against Lincoln. I'm going Trojans in this one on the road.
I'm with you on that. I'm going with the Trojans.
Yeah, Ware is mean, guys. They're 2-2. So I think this is an upset. I'm going Lincoln. I think the record looks better for Lincoln, but I think Ware is bringing in a lot of pedigree. But I'm feeling it here for the Trojans. Keep the undefeated season going.
All right, let's keep it going. Franklin County taking on Rocky Bayou. This is going to be a pretty nice test for Franklin County, but I'm going with the Seahawks. This is their second road contest. Or second consecutive road contest. I'm riding the train with Coach Cooper and his bunch.
Man, they're gonna be 5-0 Seahawks.
Keep on flying. Give me a collision course. Cottondale, Franklin County, October 4th. Mark, where are you gonna be?
Yep, it's coming down. It's coming around the corner. Thursday night ball. Chipley taking on Jay. Jay is no slouch as they are undefeated, I believe. Chipley definitely going to have their hands full, but they are at home. Give me the Tigers.
I'm going with you on that, Mark. I'm going with Chipley.
Can't spell Thursday without the D, and Chipley letting up less than a touchdown a game. I'm going Tigers.
Yep. Leon hitting the road. They will be taking on Fort Walton Beach also on Thursday. You know, I hope the Lions prove me wrong. I really do, but I might have to lean against them this time. With Fort Walton Beach being the host team, I think it's going to be Vikings over the Lions.
I'm predicting an upset. I'm going with the Lions.
Oh, I like it, Coach. Good stuff. I am not sure. I'd have to get a check-in, but I know Peoples was hurt in one of those games, so I don't know if he's back to full health. And I like the Vikings at home without your big quarterback potentially, or maybe not being full strength. So I don't know that for sure, but I knew that there was some kind of situation where he went down.
So what's your answer?
Vikings. Sorry, Fort Walton.
Okay.
You know, with all this pressing us for answers, I hope your record hold up this week. I'm at
number one, baby. I'm confident.
It's top dog, Mark. He's making.
I'll be on you next week. I'm gonna be on you. Warriors taking on winless Beaconson Charter. Osceola Christian looks like the victor in this one to move to 5-0.
I'm with you on that, Osceola.
Undefeated versus winless. Easy pick. Got to go with my Big Ben boys. Osceola.
All right. Cottondale taking on Lighthouse Christian. I'm looking for the Hornets to keep it rolling. There's too much offensive firepower there for Lighthouse Christian to keep up with. I'm going Cottondale.
Cottondale.
Lighthouse is up, but I can't root against the Kyler Murray, the Big Ben, your boy Odom out there, Mark.
All right, let's keep it rolling. Gaston County going to be looking for revenge. I like the Jags in this one as they take on Seminole County as they hit the road. But, man, I just think that this is a team that just does not like to lose. I think they got a bitter taste in their mouth from last week, and I think they're going to be taking it out on Seminole County.
I don't know if you've seen some. I saw Seminole County play, and they're pretty daggum good. It's going to be tough for Gaston County to go in, and I'm going with Seminole County.
Ooh, this is a good one. I got to rock with Gadsden on a little bounce back. I know Coffee's tough, but this is going to be a battle. Give me Gadsden, though.
Yeah, going Jags. Hamilton County taking on Toombs County, and I think – for the most part, Trojans, this is tough to go into Georgia and try to pull out a win. I don't see Hamilton getting it here.
I'm going with Toombs is the name of the team out of Georgia. They look like they're pretty tough.
Yeah, Toombs nasty. They got Wadley, that running back. He's going for like 8 a carry. Dual threat quarterback's pretty mean too. I think a little too much. Hate to do it, but I got to go Toombs.
Lafayette taking on Zarapath. Zarapath Academy is undefeated. Lafayette definitely talented. I'm gonna go with the Hornets on this one. Give me Lafayette. I think they hand Zarapath that first loss.
Mark, I'm gonna go with Lafayette too. I watched them play last week. They're a pretty tough team.
Yeah, they went up against Chiefland. Played them well for the most part, just ran out of gas late in the third.
Yeah, this one's wild. I hate to do it once again. I'm going to go with Big Z, Zarapath. They got Durham down there. They can sling it. He's over 2,000 yards already, gang. 20 touchdowns. 1 interception. Yep. And they got a receiver. He's on the brink. Bryant, I think he's just shy of 1,000. He's got 14 touchdowns. That offense in the air is dangerous.
Yeah. I think I want to change mine.
Nope.
Come on, Coach. The water's nice. Get on in here.
I think I'm going to switch up.
Can't do it. Nah. Stand on business.
No. As long as I do it before the game, it counts. I'm going.
That's fine. We're just going to put an asterisk by your pick.
I didn't know. Hey, I wasn't familiar with the team when
Do your homework.
They got 2,000 yards already.
Do your homework. All right, Holmes County taking on Northview. Holmes County at home. I like the momentum that they have right now. Northview standing firm at 2-2. They look decent, but I like the Blue Devils at home. Give me Holmes County.
I'm with Holmes County on this one too.
Yeah, make it 3. Like the run game, line solid. Going Holmes.
Liberty County taking on Miller County out of Georgia. They get them at home. Can the Bulldogs put something together? Miller County is standing at 2-2 on the year. Give me Liberty. Give me Liberty. I think they get the first win on the year. Had a chance to kind of take a peek at Miller County. I think there are some definite there's some windows of opportunity there that I think Liberty could take advantage of. Give me the Dogs.
Well, I'm gonna go with Miller County. I like that they have won a game. I saw Liberty play Monday night, last night, and they got some work. They got some work to do. Give me Miller.
Yeah, it's tough to go twice in 1 week, gang. I like JP Powell up there from Miller. Defense is mean. So hate to do it, but I got to go against our boys. I'm going to go Miller here.
All right, let's round out week number 5. Mosley taking on Escambia. I don't see how you could pick against the Dolphins right now. They just look too solid in all phases of the game. I like the Dolphins in this one.
I don't think it's even a choice. I'm going with Mosley.
Just in case we don't get to our rankings, I think it's pretty clear here, guys. We're going Dolphins.
Mariana taking on W.S. Neal in Alabama. Amari Clemens and that offense look absolutely ferocious. Give me the Dogs in this one.
I'm with the Dogs. I love that running attack.
Yep, can't argue with that. Can't lose versus can't win situation we got going on here, guys. I'm with you, Mariana.
All right, NFC taking on a very tough Valwood team on the road. Man, based on what I saw last week, it'll be hard, to give NFC the edge like that. I think I'm gonna have to go Valence in this one.
I'm with you on that one, Mark. I'm going Valwood.
Yeah, make it 3. I think they're angry playing these Florida teams. Look for a bounce back for Valwood. That's a rivalry game too, gang. They're gonna be up.
It is.
Yeah, that used to be a great rivalry there.
North Bay Haven heading out further into the Panhandle, take on Baker. Baker's ending at 3-1, winless. North Bay Haven. I don't see the Bucks getting it here. I think I'm gonna have to go Baker.
I'm Baker on that. I don't think North Bay Haven can play with those guys. They're trying to get it together. New coach Elliott is kind of tough. He got there right before the season started. Maybe next year, but this year, Baker.
Yeah, too much juice. I'm going Baker as well, gang.
All right, Suwannee taking on Appleton County in Georgia. The Dogs hitting the road. Suwannee, if they can overcome a couple of miscues, I think they might have a shot in this one. But given the fact it's a road game, I think I may have to go with Appleton on this one.
I'm with you on that too, Mark. Appleton County.
I'm feeling an upset. I saw some glimpses of Suwannee last week. So I'm going to continue on with my theme. I'm all in. Give me the Dogs.
Go ahead. I was wondering if you were going to pull out the stops or if you're going to drop an upset on it. So
there we go.
Raiders going into Moultrie, take on Colquitt County. I'm going Rick. Give me the Raiders on this one. Give me the Raiders.
Hey, you go, Jupe. I have to think about it.
No, sir. No, sir.
I can't go against
blue and gold.
I can't go against Rickers, man.
Okay.
There you go, Coach. Well, I used, I guess, my big upset, so I'm going to go with the home team here. Flanoy on the line is a beast. He's got 8.5 sacks, and then they got the ECU guy on the line as well, Wilson, and then also the USF So while I like our big guy Wiggins, I think they got enough to kind of go back and forth with him, and then the rest of the guys kind of surging through. I want to see how Rickards can battle in the trenches. Hoping Henry stays healthy, gang. That's the big thing. I know those big boys up north are very, very physical.
Yeah, definitely. I never got confirmation, but as far as what I've heard, Port St. Joe will be back on the field. Took the week off after the tragic loss of Chance Gaynor, and hearts still go out to the Port St. Joe community after the loss. And, we still encourage everybody to donate to the GoFundMe to support the Gaynor family. So, but it does look like the Sharks will be back in action, taking on Destin. Even though it's on the road, I'm going purple and gold on this one. Give me Port St. Joe.
Port St. Joe. I'm not enough said.
Yeah, too many levels. Going for Port St. Joe, then I'm rooting for them, so there's no way I could go against them. Is Destin the Sharks as well? Are we getting?
Yeah, I think they are. So Tiger Sharks versus Sharks.
All right, there we go.
But a lot of emotions. This one, a lot of emotions will be riding high in this contest. But I definitely like Port St. Joe. # do it for 2. So that'll do it for week number 5, and that will do it for looks like the extra point right now. We're gonna catch everybody next week as we roll into the middle part of the season. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on a lot of these key games and matchups. But for my two partners, Cofield and Andrew Jupe, that will do it for this week's edition of the Extra Point. We'll catch everybody next week.